We're so pumped to be here. We have 15 minutes.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Marcus.
Yes.
What's the topic that we should be talking about this year that we are not talking about as much as we should be?
Yes. I would arguably say that the most important thing we should be talking about here at Cannes is not AI. It's not necessarily creativity by itself. It's not even how we get to broader ideas. The thing that we're not talking about enough is organizational culture. This is the systems by which our teams, our departments, our companies, our institutions, our organizations operate. I would arguably say that no matter how much data you have, how much information you have, how much you know about your people, if you don't understand what makes your organization run, if you don't understand the forces that actually get you to realize the best version of yourself, no matter how good the strategy is, it's going to fail, or it's not going to be at the highest fidelity possible. And we don't talk about that enough, unfortunately, here.
Yes, and we've talked a lot. And my whole focus is engagement. A friend of mine calls me an engagement monster. Your whole focus is culture. I think what's really important is that often when we're in spaces like this, we talk a lot about the work, the output, right? The food on the table. So let's talk a little bit about what we are building together with Eat Your Breakfast, why we're building it, what's the concept behind it, and what people can really learn from this idea of eating your breakfast.
So there's a erroneously attributed quote that's attributed to Peter Drucker that says culture eats strategy for breakfast, which we heard before. He actually didn't say that. It's Druckian in nature, but he didn't say that. But the provocation is still accurate. And it's this: no matter how great the strategy is, if the organizational culture isn't optimized, you'll never be able to fully operate against that strategy. Mm-hmm. So what we have decided to do was endeavor into an exploration of what actually helps drive organizational culture. How might we optimize it such that the organization is at its best, but also the individual contributors are at its best as well? Essentially, how do we make the governing operating system of an organization better? Mm-hmm. How do we optimize it? How do we ensure that we're not only doing good work, but we are doing the best work at our highest fidelity possible? So we're engaging in this. Yes. And not just to call it a podcast would be underselling it. It really is a discursive undertaking in which we're able to get a sense of what gets people to move, not just motivated, but coordinated.
Well, both of us have a background in education and in marketing. And when we talked about doing a podcast, we said it's really important that for leaders, it's not, prescriptive, like, okay, now you've done it all. Good job. You're doing great with internal organizational culture. It's actually a process, and it's learning, and it's evolving. And I think for Cannes, it's important to talk about how that does affect the work. So this all really came about. You were inspired because of ELF. And yes. I think just a short soundbite, because they are up for how many Lions? I don't even know.
I think
20,
ELF is
30,
probably the brand I'm most excited about. Yeah. You guys familiar with the Too Many Dicks campaign?
So many dicks? So many dicks.
So many dicks.
You guys know about So Many Dicks? Raise your hand. So Many Dicks?
Phenomenal campaign.
For lots of awards.
So very short, I got a chance to get connected with the folks at ELF, and they invited me to come to their all hands offsite. And I went, and I felt like I was at a Tony Robbins conference. I mean, people were pumped. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And I'm meeting all these folks here, and they all use the same language. It's, anything's elfing possible, and we don't give an elf. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is enough, So I have dinner before my talk the next day with some elves. Mm-hmm. And they're like, how long you been working here? It's like, oh, I don't work here. I'm just a guest. And one woman said, I've been working here for 2 months. And I was like, oh, wow, look at you. Free trip to Cabo. Are you 2 months in? That's pretty good. That's like, so you must be pretty senior here. She goes, no, I'm the office receptionist. And I go, well, that's pretty cool. Mm. So next morning, I'm at Tech Check with Corey, the CMO, Terrain, the CEO, Lori, the CBO, Scott, the Chief People Officer. And we're just talking about the event, that I experienced the day beforehand. And I go, hey, also I met one of your new employees. She's the office receptionist. I go, yeah, Rosie. And I go, time out. What do you mean? Like, how is this even possible?
The CEO said that.
The CEO, and he sits. I speak of the devil. There's Corey. Hey,
what?
Corey.
We just started talking about you, Corey. Did you? No, you did not. Can you come here? Well, we just all no? Okay, listen. But just listen to this one sentence about EBITDA.
Love you.
Just listen to him talk about EBITDA for 1 second and what you've done for your team. EBITDA.
So I'm sitting here like totally amazed. Like Tarang and Corey don't even sit in New York, and this girl works in the office in New York City. And I realized that everything about this company, every single thing it does, from the people they hire, from their policies, everybody who works at ELF has meaningful equity and ownership in ELF. Everybody's bonuses are based upon EBITDA. It's the most democratized way by which bonuses can be given. And their products are democratized so that even though it's a prestigious product, it's available for everyone because that's what they believe. And just because she's here,
That's
I've been
unreal.
talking to Corey about doing something together, and I pitched an idea. She goes, nah, it won't work. It's too exclusive. And they're all about democratization.
That's right.
So we think about which brand is doing this best. It's them. Love you so much.
Love you so much,
Ciao.
Corey. That's unbelievable that just happened. We love you. Congrats.
Serendipity.
And what's amazing is, you talked about all of the team actually really being so focused on EBITDA and focus. And if you could just briefly talk a little bit about that. And if you could also just talk about how the democratization from the external manifestation of the product matches that internal democratization. That, I think, is really key for companies here looking to create the best outputs.
That's right.
How does the internal customer match with the external customer? Just talk a little bit about that ownership, that EBITDA. I think that's an amazing story.
It requires, look, Lauryn Hill says it best. How you going to win if you ain't right within? Right? It's the internal that drives the external. Unfortunately, we spend so much time thinking about what we do and what we create, as opposed to what's the shared imagination that we all buy into that informs what we do and informs what we create. We have to have a very clean understanding of the internal customer if we are to engage the external customer with great fidelity. That is the conversation that we are not having here because, honestly, with all due respect and all love, we don't focus on this as an industry.
Yes.
We focus on the doing, on the creativity, on the making, on the bringing to market, on the media, on the data and analytics. But we don't spend enough time talking about the humans, not the machines we messages that crap cash that we call consumers, but the people who work in our organizations who are responsible for the work that we do and our ability to engage the external customer.
Yes. I think, as the last question, I'd like to explore this idea of what's one question that we're not asking as brand leaders that we should be internally, and a bit more about it, lean in a little bit, kind of end with. So I'm going to kind of ask one question, talk about that, and then lean a bit into the idea of purpose, your own individual purpose, and how that differs to work. The
question we should be asking ourselves is, what do we believe? Not what do we create, but what do we believe? How do we see the world? Because it's this shared imagination, what psychology literature refers to as the schema. It's a shared schema that helps us align. And if you look at the history of work from our Paleolithic days, we're hunter-gatherers, to our Neolithic days, we were in agriculture, to Mesopotamia, when Neolithic was at its highest fidelity, to we were in Bronze Age, to Industrial Revolution, to the very stage we stand on today. Our ability to collaborate, or what the literature referred to as co-labor, our ability to co-labor was based upon a shared imagination that we have of the world. So we should be asking ourselves as organizations, as brands, as agencies, as partners, as vendors, what do we believe? What is the shared imagination?
Oh, that means it's true.
Someone's
celebrating. Someone's celebrating.
So
yes.
it's like, amen.
It was the mic drop. It was the rock drop.
It's the shared imaginations. And when those beliefs align with our beliefs as an individual, we go, that's the company I want to work for, not because of what they do, but because of how they see the world.
Can you finish with that story of the guy on the side of the road with the bricks?
Yeah. So
let's finish with that.
There's a parable called the bricklayer's parable, and it goes like this. Say I see Amanda on the side of the road, and I go, Amanda, what are you doing? She says, I'm laying bricks. Well, Amanda has a job. She lays bricks. But if I see Amanda on the side of the road, and I go, Amanda, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm building a church. Well, Amanda has a career. She builds churches. But if I see Amanda on the side of the road and she's laying bricks, I go, Amanda, what are you doing? And she says, I'm building the house of God. Well, that Amanda has a calling. Which Amanda is more excited about coming to work every day? The one with the calling, right? It's a belief. It's an imagination that we buy into that adds meaning to the work that we do. And when works are full of meaning, i.e. meaningful, the more likely we are to invest in it and buy into it. But it requires a very clear vision of what the world is based on who we are.
And bringing it full circle to ELF with so many dicks, which is what we brought up initially, that was a values-based campaign to get more women on board seats. And it wasn't about selling makeup.
Nope.
It was about communicating those values, staying true to those values, and getting people to also align with those values to raise all I'm not going to
based
say
on the work
Nick,
you do, it's like
chips.
based on what you do so well, it's a way of
You got that.
engaging
Thank
people.
you for getting that joke without me having to say it. That was very
It's
good.
a way of inviting people to engage, and you know this so well. 'Cause this is the work that you've been doing forever.
Yeah. So I think that for the last thing we'll say is one sentence as everyone's leaving and having these conversations, these very important conversations over and over again with the people that they work with the people that they brought here, with the people that they're meeting. What's one thing that they could bring into the conversation at Cannes, over rosé, over iced coffee, over whatever really good drink that I saw over here? What's the thing they could bring up?
What do we believe? It's that simple. What do we believe? How do we see the world? And it's that belief system that will set the stage for all that we do going forward.
Great. So when you all meet people, this entire experience, instead of saying, what do you do? What are you going to say? What do you believe?
There you go. I like that.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much, everyone. We really appreciate it. I'm going to give another
Thanks
iced
so
coffee.
much.
Thank you.